Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm your host, Shaun T. Welcome to Trust and Believe. I have a question for you. Do you want to make some extra money? What if I told you all you need is $5 and 24 hours to start making some extra money, have a little side hustle, and possibly create an incredible business? Well, today our guest, Adrian Morrison, is going to take us on a journey on how if you are an entrepreneur, you can build your business, build your life, or if you just want a couple extra dollars and make $100 extra a month, he has some tips for you too. Get ready to trust and believe in the money.
Somebody say hell yeah.
No. What's up?
He's better than Oprah.
Come on, y'all. This is Shaun T, and it's time to trust and believe.
All right, I want to start this off by reading a very important message from you, Adrian.
Okay.
I don't know if you're ready for this. So on May 21st, 2020, you wrote, started insanity again. Been a few years, and I just wanted to tell you how motivational you are. Legit, I could not finish that workout on my own without the motivation. Cool finding you on IG and seeing you're still motivating and inspiring others. Hope all is well, with the 100 emoji. And the reason why I started out with that message from you is because I know you are a person that likes to give, and you don't like to necessarily talk about yourself. You're a person that likes to uplift and inspire people, but I wanted people to know just like who you are, and that you are just another few messages that we exchanged. You talked a little bit more about yourself, but you know, if you want to find a little bit more about Adrian in that aspect, you can follow him on IG. But I know today you really want to inspire and motivate and help people. And I just want to say, I appreciate you being that. I can tell by following you. And I even said in that message, I'm going to follow you and follow your journey, but I got a lot more out of that. But so before we really begin, and before we find out your history of business, why do you like helping people succeed so much?
Well, honestly, first off, it's great to be here. It's an honor to be here. You've been kicking my butt for like 10 years now in insanity, so this is cool. But I like to teach because growing up, I was like in school an absolute straight F student, the kid always looking out the window, least likely to succeed. And I realized that it wasn't necessarily me that was stupid, like the school system essentially was saying. It was just I needed to learn a different way, and I needed to learn at my own pace. And so when I did become successful in the fields I'm in, which is internet marketing, e-commerce, Facebook ads, I helped my roommate get started in college, because I started this in college. And his family was losing their home. They were in really bad shape. And I just, as a friend, I taught him how to do what I was doing, and he saw success with it. And that also gave me like this, I had this aha moment, this feeling of what it's like to be a part and have an impact like that in someone's life. And I kind of just needed and wanted more. So I started teaching people all over the world how to do this. And it's been awesome. We've helped a lot of people get started online with what we do, and it's just a great feeling.
I know you've helped people build 6-figure businesses, 7-figure businesses, and 8-figure businesses even. And while that is great, I want to ask you some foundational questions, because a lot of people in 2020, you know, with the state of our world, really were forced to become entrepreneurs. And I get a lot of questions from people, you know, asking me, you know, how'd you get started? What are some tips that you need along the way? And I think a lot of times people are so focused on that 6-figure, 7-figure number. They try to reach these goals without having some key foundational tools in their, what I like to call their toolbox, to even get them to a place where they could be committed and consistent to get there. And so in your experience and in your teaching, and I know you have courses out there that we'll talk more about later, but specifically, what are some foundational tools that you try to teach people to get them on a path to really know whether or not they really want to go down this road of being an entrepreneur?
Sure. So first things first is most people fail because they fail to get started. It's kind of like what you said in one of your insanity videos. You said the hardest part is just pressing play. Essentially, it's like that with entrepreneurship. You just have to get started. And the second thing that is imperative is not skipping step number one, because there are so many people on Instagram and YouTube and all this stuff with 6 figures and 7 figures and 8 figures and fake Lamborghinis and all this stuff, selling like the shiny object stuff and selling the big dream. But really what's important is, to most people, is just simply making more money than you're making right now. So an extra $100 a month could change somebody's life. So an extra $1,000 a month. So I think one of the main things I teach people when I'm showing them what I do with the things I do in entrepreneurship is setting these micro goals before they set these massive goals that are going to take a while to hit. And if you go into a business with that type of understanding, you'll have more fun and you'll be likely to have, more success as you see progress.
Where do you see most people running into their first barrier? And when I say that, a lot of people do get started. They do take that first step, what you said. Like I say, press play, they do get started. But where does that first barrier hit for a lot of people? And what are some of the things that they can do to climb over it, break through it, move around it, or whatever it is that they need to do to keep pushing forward?
I think that the main thing that people hit, especially with what I teach, and just to clarify for everybody listening in the audience, I teach people, I teach e-commerce and drop shipping. So, I'm selling leggings with pictures of dogs printed on them. It's wild. It's really crazy. But I think people get overwhelmed when they get started, because there are so many different paths and avenues online if you want to start a business. And a lot of people starting right now have never thought about it because they had their own brick and mortar businesses, and they're realizing now online is the safest place to be. So some of the things that I would do is first educate yourself, look for a credible mentor, and just people that practice, what they preach. I think that that's the main thing that anyone getting started should do. And then understanding just simply that there's no such thing as really failing at something unless you give up. So if you start something online and you don't see success in 3 or 4 days, empires aren't built overnight, right? So it's just being consistent and consuming that education. The next thing is taking responsibility. So when you take accountability and responsibility for any type of, loss, you empower yourself to make that change. If you make an excuse, then you're essentially saying there's nothing I can do about it, and you're paralyzed. So those are some of the things I would tell somebody getting started that's hitting that first hurdle, which is, where do I go? What do I do? What do I sell? What's my business? How do I launch it? It's definitely following that advice first, getting that education, and then understanding it's not an overnight process.
Okay, so now, thank you for that. Now I'm going to be a little selfish, because like I said, I just love what you do, and I know you love to teach. And I think for me, the best way to actually interview you in this next section is to talk about, how you can help me, because I know that there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there, or like we just talked about, people getting started that have a bunch of questions. But I'm going to jump right into kind of like the Facebook ads. And I just want to give everyone, a truthful moment. I am a sucker for ads. I cannot even tell you how many things I buy. Underwear, I buy tights. I bought a ice cream maker last week. I bought a date book for me and my husband, but there are things that I absolutely love. And, I actually sell things on Facebook ads and Instagram ads too. And so part of me feels like I'm contributing to the cause and really, because I think it's a fun place. But first and foremost, let's talk about when should someone use Facebook ads, because I know there's a lot of people that say, I have a product, I want Facebook ads. Like, should they do it right away? Should they wait? Like, is there a right time?
Immediately. Like, the time is now, honestly, especially with what's going on in the world and everybody's on Facebook more often and own Instagram more often. And a lot of people, they think Facebook is more complicated than it actually is. It's actually quite simple. And you don't have to have a big budget to get started with Facebook ads. People come to me all the time and say, Adrian, well, it's easy for you to say, get started with Facebook because you're spending $20,000 and $30,000 a day on ads and you have that budget. But for me, I want to sell my product and I've got $100 in income a month that I can use. I actually teach people and started myself with a $5 per day budget in ads. And no, that's not going to make you a bunch of money, but what it does is it lets you test the market, dial it in a bit, and then you scale up once you see that it shows promise. But I would say right away, Facebook ads is the best way to get your product in front of the right people's face.
And what do you say about the actual ad itself? Does it depend on the product? Is video better? Are pictures better? Is there one thing or it depends on your particular product?
It really depends on the product that you're marketing. So if you're in e-commerce, very high quality images of your product are going to do well. Slideshow videos do well. So where you're able to show different colors, variants, different benefits of the product, which is really easy for a newbie to start with that's not able to go produce like a commercial, if you will, for their product. And then a lot of times just static, like just a one picture of your product can do well. The key is just getting people's attention. So once you get their attention, then you can get them to take action. And so you really need to test on a product by product basis on which one's going to work better, videos or images. And like for you, I think videos probably are going to work the best because you get to see you in action, right? You get to see a lot of what the workout entails. For me, when I'm promoting my brand, my face, myself, videos work the best. But for my e-commerce stores, usually just the pictures do really great.
So Adrian, I also know that there is a new social media platform that you've definitely messaged me a few times about and invited me to come on. Can you tell us about the new platform that you think, especially entrepreneurs, should get on, but other people as well?
Yeah, it's wild. It's called Clubhouse. It's currently right now on iOS, so you have to have an iPhone. And it's crazy because I'm seeing people that have never had an iPhone before rush out to buy iPhones to get on this social media platform. It's all voice-based. It's like live podcasts, and you can go and join rooms and listen to experts talk about health advice or entrepreneurship or just hang out. Like I was just in a room with Damon from Shark Tank the other night, and Paris Hilton popped in the room. It's crazy. Everybody's interested in it. And I think in 2021, it's definitely going to blow up. So I highly recommend it.
Don't you think it's really interesting that it is a social media platform that's not based on picture or video and it's based on voice? Because every other platform, you have to post a picture, you have to do all this stuff, and you're just kind of like, it's like you gotta get dressed to be on this platform. And with this one, you just log on and like listen or, get invited to join. And I think it almost seems like it's going backwards, right? Like in the 90s, you had a beeper and you had a phone and you had a mess answer machine. And we've gotten into this world of video and I need to look good. And like the first time I ever went on it, I was in my underwear, finishing up my salad, like hanging out with Hulu paused in the background, you know? Like,
Yep.
and you could just feel free and just actually talk and use your voice, and it's really cool.
Yeah, I agree. It's totally amazing to be able to do that. And I've actually started calling it the social network of the real and the social network of knowledge. Because if you're going, you can't post all of these fancy photos and whatever to get people's attention. It's really about your words on there. So there's a lot of people that are doing some amazing things on there. Just a lot of free information from great people on there that you can tune into.
So, you know, I do a lot. I do have a lot of ads with my actual fitness videos. But a lot of things that I sell are events and apparel. And I heard you say earlier, you know, you sell leggings or whatever, tights or whatever with dogs on them. And it's like for a dog lover, if you had like tennis balls on them, I'd be right in. So, you know, some people could be like, how do you sell something like that? Like, really, that sells? And what is your response to something like that?
Well, my response is I would have said the same thing 10 years ago. If you had have asked me when I was trying to get into law school, which was an epic fail for me, if I would be making money selling leggings and pillows and stuff like that and T-shirts, I would have said you're absolutely crazy. And I still think it's crazy that people buy a lot of the stuff that I sell. So what I would say to them is that in marketing, it doesn't really matter what you think. Like, what you think is irrelevant. It means nothing. The only thing that matters is, you know, what the people want and getting it in front of their face. So in terms of simplicity of it, I actually hold no inventory, like zero inventory. I do drop shipping. And with the Shopify platform, have you heard, you know, Shopify, obviously.
Yes. Yeah, I use Shopify as well.
I was just doing a clubhouse with the president of Shopify last week, Harley Finkelstein.
I know, I missed it.
He was dropping bombs on there. It was awesome. But, you know, he mentioned drop shipping. And one of the great things about the Shopify platform that really is beneficial for a complete newbie is you can just plug in little apps like Printful that will allow you to copy and paste essentially pictures or quotes on different pieces of apparel or coffee mugs or whatever it may be and list it for sale. And then when somebody buys it on your store, you get paid and they ship it out for you and then take a little piece of the profit. So it's quite simple to get started selling stuff like that.
You know, I have my fitness brand, I have my apparel brand, and my apparel store has really things that are very specific to my inspiration and to my fan base. But I'm all about a side hustle, Adrian. I love me a good side hustle. And so I was thinking that I wanted to do for me. I have a really great guy who does my drop shipping and like handles my apparel, but I kind of wanted to do my own personal fun, you know, what is Shaun T about outside of like the realm of Shaun T and what people know. And, you know, I really want to do that. So anyway, do you think it's like, you think I should do, because I love tennis, I love dancing, I like all these like really fun things. And, you know, I have my own personal budget. Like I said, it would be a side hustle. But your answer is probably going to be yes. But would you say it's worth it to have a store that is like of all things instead of like one specific type of brand? Because, you know, sometimes on ads you see a brand that's very specific to, let's say, clothing, whether it's women's clothing, a certain style, you know, or whatever. Do you think it's okay to have a store that just has like just a bunch of stuff?
Yeah, of course. That's actually what I teach, honestly. And it's kind of the opposite of what most people say to do. Most people say have one niche, like one category, and build your brand around that. Whereas I said one person, like a person isn't defined by one niche or one passion. Like you just said, you love fitness and all of that stuff, but you also love tennis and have these other things that you enjoy. So the way I see it is, if somebody's on my website and I have their attention right now, I want them to see all of the things that they may be interested in. Like when you go into Walmart, you know, you don't just go there necessarily to buy one thing. You walk out with a lot of different categories of things. And I call it a flexible store. or a flexible shop, because like this chair I'm in that flexes with my back, you're able to kind of flex with the market, sell what they want right now, what's hot right now. And on my stores, I sell like these dog products, LED dog collars and leggings, but I sell like tactical watches and tactical gear that's to a completely different market, all in one place. I'd love to see some wine night shirts of
and that was my next question, because we have wine night shirts, but here's the thing that's really interesting. Two things. One, even if I came up with a side hustle, would I just still put it in the store that I already have? Or do you think should I make another store that's specific to something else?
Well, it would depend on the way that you set it up. So if you set the store up to where it looks like it should be, making these different things available, like where they don't clash, then put it on one store. But if it's completely separate and it could be like a separate brand that's not necessarily your face that's on it, then you could definitely put it on a separate store. I think that either way, it should be okay. It's just if you're throwing everything on like your particular store, it might not make sense if everything is around, say, Shaun T. If you're selling some really random item on there that has nothing to do with your brand, because you have, such a powerful brand.
Got it. Perfect. Okay, that answers my question. We do have a couple wine night things, but I did also realize that even within my brand, the fun things sell really well, like our Donut Friday sweats and our Donut Friday shirts and things that are just jovial and, we have all the other stuff sells well, but those things sell well. And the store that I want to open is very niche things. Like I said, just like random and fun and just exciting. And I have a name for my store, but I won't tell it now. Maybe we'll have to get together offline because I want to help other people out. Cool. Okay. So thank you for all that. That's, I think, for a lot of people out there who may be looking to get into either whatever business or e-commerce. I definitely want to put your course in the show notes, because I think it'd be interesting for people to take it. Maybe you have a new student looking at you right now. Let's talk more about your courses, because, obviously I want people to get them. But I think a lot of times when I see on social media someone promoting a course per se, it's almost like too good to be true, if you know what I'm saying. Like, and you seem to, in a lot of the content that I've seen you put out, you seem to have like a really honest way of building people's confidence as they go through courses. So what can people really expect when they embark on a course with you? And because like I said, a lot of times people are like, oh, it's too good to be true, but you just don't have that air about you. So what is your style of teaching?
Like I said in the beginning, I don't like to preach the make $1 million. As a matter of fact, when I show, you have to show like your success to get people to understand that you've actually done what you're teaching, though I hate that. I straight up tell people, you're most likely not going to make as much money as I've made, especially the time frame that I've made it. So don't come into this expecting to see those results. Think about what your goal is. What's your personal goal, and how much money additionally do you need to be happy and to get to that next level in life? So that's what I tell people to start out with, like I said in the beginning. And then I'm just a really chill dude. I teach my students every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern on something that's called the Profit Power Hour. So when they get in my course, I don't just sell a course and then disappear until I want to sell them another course, like most gurus do in the space that give it a bad name. I stick with my students. So when they get any of my courses, they get on these Tuesday night webinars with me. They're completely free. I don't sell anything. And I legit just share my screen, and we do product research and we build Facebook ads. And I've been doing those for 6 years. I've never missed a single night. And,
nice.
I think that's really what's important, is that continued education.
I think that's so imperative because you're right. A lot of people, you put out courses and it's here, like take this. But especially in my opinion, with something like building a business, I think that it's almost like you're providing a college course where you have to show up, and it kind of holds people accountable. And I really like that. And you continue to teach them, because even taking courses, sometimes like you have questions or you may not really understand it all the way and you could be making mistakes. And so I really appreciate that. I'm going to move on a little bit because I think that's actually enough for people to say, hey, I want to try this out, or look you up and try it out. The next thing I want to say is you put out a video a couple weeks ago about, and we're not knocking Amazon, but you talked about like why not to have an Amazon store. And I know a lot of people like, have an Amazon store, have your affiliate links. And so what was your, I mean, I watched your video, but I think it's important I just want to ask some questions. Like, where did you come up with like, oh, wait a minute, this is not quite the most efficient way to continue to work my business?
The main reason that I teach, or that I released a video about not starting with Amazon, is because most people that want to get started selling stuff online say, oh, Amazon, that's number one. So that's what I'm going to start with. But it actually is going to, I believe, hurt people in the long run, because when you buy something from Amazon and your friend says, oh, yo, that's a sick shirt that you have there. Like, where'd you get that from? They're going to say Amazon. They're not going to say your brand. They don't know who you are. Right. And then the other thing is Amazon does not give you customer data, meaning you're not able to build an email list. They hold back all of the email addresses from sellers. So you're really stuck having to pay for ads in the marketplace of Amazon to continue generating sales. Whereas with platforms like Shopify, you get your customer data, their email address, and you're able to build an email list. So when Black Friday hits, Cyber Monday, Valentine's Day, whatever it may be, I literally can just press send to 600,000 people, and boom, I have traffic on my store and I'm generating sales, and they know they're buying from me. I kind of call Shopify the invisible selling machine. 1 out of 3 people in America has actually shopped on a Shopify store, and they just don't know it, because Shopify is designed to prop up the entrepreneur's brand, and Amazon is designed to prop up, Amazon, which is smart.
Email list. You hear a lot of times people saying, oh, you got to build an email list and that's your currency and whatever. And I'm like, okay, I completely get that. But you build this email list, and then a lot of people don't necessarily know what is a good percentage open rate of that email list. And then further down, if you put out if you're selling a product or whatever, you launch a Valentine's Day special, what is the percentage that you want people to buy? Because it's just, you have this email list, and like you said, 1 of 3 people have bought, they don't know. Some people don't even open it. Some people ignore it. So what is a good percentage of the open rate first? That's what I want to get to.
I would say that a good percentage for like an e-commerce business and open rates would be, on average, like 15 to 20% of the people that you email will actually open it up. But there's strategies to increase that. So sending a second email the same day to only the people that did not open up the email that you sent earlier with a different subject line will get you more opens. So that's something that we do. We email everybody, and then later that day, we email everybody that did not open that first email. So it gives me a second opportunity. But yeah, 15, 20%.
I want to tell you that I'm so excited because our Shaun T emails are like, I think they're like 18 to 21% or something like that. And we've really tried to build them up. So my next question with email list specifically is, what day of the week do you think is the best time to send emails out, if there's any better day at all?
I do it like this. Well, when I'm mailing, like for my brand, not my e-commerce brand, but my training and mentorship brand, I mail every day. As a matter of fact, if I were to die today, everyone that's on my list that joins my list today would still be getting emails from me 3 years from now because I have them pre-scheduled. So I mail every day. Now in e-commerce, it's a little bit different. I mail 1 week, I'll mail Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then the next week I will mail Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and always give Sundays off. So that's what I would do for an e-com brand.
And that's not too much, because I would assume that, oh my gosh, like I'm getting another email from Adrian. Well, I wouldn't do that with you, but I'm just saying, like, what are those people who are like,
Mike,
I got another email. Oh, I got another email. Like, what is too much? Or it doesn't seem like it is.
Well, I mean, look, if you're not in their inbox, somebody else is going to be. So it's either you or them. Out of sight, out of mind. I want them to see me every day, and I want them to see my brand every day, whether they open it or not.
And it's almost, in thinking about it that way, it's almost like social media, right? It's like people come to your post every day. It's just a different way. Now, I guess the deeper question is, are you hard selling in every email, or are you just updating them, or is it all different types of information? And I don't want you to give too much, because I know you have the course, but this is like something that I want to know.
Well, with e-commerce, it's just, here's our catalog of items that are recommended, that are hot, that are on sale. And then when I'm mailing for my brand and courses and whatnot, we're usually we'll send some YouTube videos, maybe send some emails to Instagram posts, emails to a case study, all that really kind of lead in back to the, hey, you should take this next step forward and start with this training. But it's definitely not hard selling, because people will get annoyed with that. You got to give them some value.
Love it. That was a thing. Okay, so you have the courses and you have your e-commerce store. You email both of those email lists often, correct?
Right.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about value, because there are a lot of people out there. I know people out there who have started a chef business, who may be an online health coach, who may be a personal trainer, or who may make Christmas ornaments or party things for people. I think there's so many different, types of those businesses out there, and I think they're all really fun. What is we talk about, you don't want to do a hard sell. What is a way to send emails out there to people and products like that? Like if you're a chef, I think with a chef, you can probably say, here's a tip on how to cook something. But what about people who's a health coach or a crafter?
I would say sending out, first off, a free PDF ebook that provides value. I always think, serve first, profit second. And we actually, since we do a lot of coaching and training, and we teach other people that do the same thing, like health coaches and stuff that have a course or have a training or a business, we teach them how to market as well. With those, it's more like you got to sell without selling. I sell through logic. And so when I send out an email, I'm giving out phenomenal information and great information. And what happens is people say, if this is what he's giving me for free, I can only imagine what's in the course. Because if you hard sell people with urgency and too much emotion, then they end up getting in and inevitably having buyer's remorse, because it wasn't a logical, decision for them. So we just flood them with value, but always link back and say, hey, if you want to take the next step, you can get more here.
I absolutely love that. The thing is, I have so many questions for you, and you're providing so much value. I actually want people to come to you to get that. But speaking of value, and I think this is pretty much one of the most important things about this podcast, and you've actually done a lot of that through the interview, what I'm about to ask you. But how do you, what is your definition of trust and believe? Because you are very successful, and without going into too much detail, you shared some things with me in our correspondence, and I know that you've also had struggle. And so how do you really continue to push through when you may have self-doubt, or maybe your business is not doing as best as it can? You know, how do you help people trust and believe in who they are?
I think that, you know, like you said, everybody has some sort of struggle. Everybody has, you know, those down times. And for me, what's important is doing my best to surround myself with people that lift me up, you know, that I can lean on, and people that believe in me. So when I am experiencing self-doubt, you know, I have that person or those people in my group saying, bro, you got this, you can do this, whatever it may be. That helps, I guess, restore some of the confidence. But I always kind of go back to this quote by Oscar Wilde. I studied Oscar Wilde back in college. And he says that to love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance. And I believe that there's a lot of truth to that. In order to get through these struggles, and in order to achieve your goals, you really need to believe in yourself first. Whatever you got to do in order to do that, you have to believe in yourself. And I think that'll get you through the tough times as well.
Yeah, and it'll get you through the trust. Adrian, thank you so much. I do want to say before we get off that I absolutely love your accent. It is like, I just think it's so cool. I don't know many people I know people from the South, but now you have it's not super heavy. You obviously speak very well, but I love knowing that you're from a different part of the country than where I grew up. Any final word? Can you give us the website? Or do you want to, is there a specific website, or would you rather just put the link in the show notes?
My main training on e-commerce that Shopify certified and endorses is ecomsuccessacademy.com. That program's our highest level. And then I have a link in my Instagram bio at all times for a free book and a free case study, which leads to one of our lower ticket courses, entry level. So they can go check out my Instagram bio to take a look at that as well.
And how long is the e-com course?
Oh man, the big one, Ecom Success Academy, I've been building it for 5 years. So no lie, there's probably 200 videos in there that I filmed. I just keep adding and adding and adding and adding. But realistically, anyone could have a store up and running with products on it and ready to sell within 24 hours of going through the first 24 hours of the training. The rest is how to optimize and how to, evolve, if you will. Yeah,
I was going to say, a lot of people may be like, wow, that's very overwhelming. But if you think about it, you are just constantly providing the value and answers to questions that they're going to have once they do get their store up and running. So, I'm going to check it out, and I highly suggest all of you out there check it out if you are wanting to have a side hustle like your boy Shaun T, or if you want to build a store, build something great for yourself. Adrian, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me here. It was awesome, and I really appreciate it. And it's been amazing getting to know you after doing your workouts for so long. So thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.